As my heir, William now assumes the Scottish titles which have meant so much to me. He succeeds.
The history of the British monarchy has just been rewritten as Catherine and William stunned the whole world in their first appearance as king and queen. While King Charles is still alive, is this a temporary step or the start of a new era? Join us as we uncover the secrets behind this bold move and its impact. A monarchy in crisis. The royal household is no longer as steady as it once seemed. Behind the grand walls and polished halls, a quiet crisis is growing. King Charles is facing a serious illness, one that keeps him in the hospital for long periods. His absence is deeply felt, not just in presence, but in leadership. Important duties begin to pile up, waiting for decisions that do not come quickly enough. Staff move carefully, unsure of who should take charge. What once felt organized and strong now feels slow and uncertain. Even the simplest matters begin to stretch longer than they should. The crown, known for strength and stability, now appears fragile in ways no one expected. Could this silence be hiding something much bigger? Inside the palace, confusion spreads like a slow shadow. Messages are delayed, and instructions are often unclear. Senior aides, who are meant to guide and support, begin to disagree among themselves. Meetings that should bring solutions instead end in tension. Some believe one path should be taken, while others push in a different direction. Without clear leadership, small problems grow into larger ones. Files remain unsigned, plans are paused, and trust begins to weaken. Every passing day adds more pressure to an already strained system. The smooth running of the royal household starts to slip, and those inside can feel the weight of it. If those meant to lead cannot agree, what happens next? At the same time, old concerns return to the surface. Queen Camilla, who stands beside the king, finds herself at the center of renewed attention. Past controversies that once seemed quiet begin to rise again, creating unease among those within the royal circle. Some question her influence, while others worry about how her presence affects decisions during this delicate time. The timing could not be worse. Instead of unity, there is doubt. Instead of calm, there is tension. The royal family, which should stand together in moments like this, feels divided in quiet but serious ways. These undercurrents make every decision more difficult. Will these old shadows grow darker as the crisis deepens? Important matters begin to suffer as a result. Issues that require quick and careful action are handled too slowly or not at all. Opportunities are missed, and urgent situations are left waiting. The sense of control that once defined the monarchy starts to fade. Those watching closely begin to notice small signs of disorder. It is not loud or obvious, but it is there in the details. The way meetings end without clear answers. The way plans are changed at the last moment. The way confidence slowly slips away from those inside the system. Everything feels just a little off, and that feeling continues to grow. How long can this go on before something gives? As the days pass, quiet whispers begin to spread. Questions rise, not loudly, but steadily. Is the monarchy still as strong as it appears? Can it handle this moment of pressure? The crown, once seen as unshakable, now seems exposed in a way that is hard to ignore. Those closest to the center feel it the most, but even beyond the palace, there is a sense that something is not right. But who will step forward when it matters most? The power struggle behind palace walls. The palace grows heavier with each passing day, as the absence of King Charles begins to shape every corner of royal life. His illness keeps him away from daily duties, and the space he leaves behind does not stay empty for long. Instead, it is filled with uncertainty. There is no clear voice to guide decisions, and no steady hand to bring calm. This quiet gap soon turns into something more serious. A vacuum forms, one that pulls in tension, doubt, and urgency. Those within the palace feel it deeply, even if they do not speak of it openly. Every choice now carries more weight than before. Without firm direction, even the smallest actions feel uncertain. Who will step forward to steady the crown? Queen Camilla begins to take notice of this growing imbalance. She understands how fragile the situation has become and feels a strong need to protect the image of the monarchy. In her mind, the crown must never appear weak, especially during such a sensitive time. With careful thought, she offers to take on a leading role, hoping to bring order where there is confusion. Her intention is clear: to hold things together until the king can return. She believes her position beside him gives her the right and the responsibility to act. For a moment, it seems like a possible solution. But not everyone sees it that way. Could her step forward calm the storm, or would it make things worse? Behind closed doors, the royal council gathers to discuss her proposal. The atmosphere is tense, filled with quiet disagreements and careful words. These are people who understand the weight of every decision, and they do not take this one lightly. After long discussions, they come to a firm conclusion. They cannot support her taking full control. In their view, such a move could deepen the divisions already forming within the royal family. They worry it may weaken what little confidence still remains in the system. To them, this is not just about filling a role, it is about protecting the future of the monarchy. If the wrong choice is made now, the damage could last far beyond this moment. So who do they believe can carry this burden? The council turns its attention to Prince William. In their eyes, he represents stability, continuity, and the future of the crown. He has spent years preparing, learning the ways of duty, and showing quiet strength in his role. Unlike others, he carries both respect and trust within the royal circle. The council believes that stepping him forward would bring a sense of balance that is badly needed. It is not just about his position, but about what he represents: a bridge between tradition and change. A steady figure in a time of doubt. Yet even as his name is put forward, a question lingers in every mind. Is he truly ready for such a heavy responsibility? The decision is not simple, and the weight of it can be felt in every corner of the palace. Choosing William means shifting power in a way that cannot be ignored. It means placing the future ahead of the present. For some, this feels like the right path. For others, it feels too soon. The air is filled with quiet tension as this idea takes shape. Camilla's disappointment grows, even if it is not openly shown. The council stands firm, believing they are protecting the crown in the only way they can. But beneath it all, uncertainty remains. If William steps forward, everything could change. But if he does not, the vacuum may grow even deeper. What choice will shape the fate of the monarchy? If William is chosen, will he accept the role when the moment comes? The rise of William and Catherine. While tension continues to grow within the palace, a different story begins to take shape through the steady presence of William and Catherine. In the middle of uncertainty, they move with calm purpose, carrying out their duties with care and focus. Their approach feels fresh, yet respectful, blending tradition with a gentle modern touch. Each appearance is handled with precision, each responsibility met with quiet confidence. They do not rush, and they do not hesitate. Instead, they move with a sense of balance that brings comfort to those around them. Even in difficult moments, they remain composed, showing a unity that is both natural and reassuring. Could this calm presence be exactly what the monarchy needs right now? Their growing influence does not come from loud actions, but from steady consistency. At every engagement, they present a clear image of partnership, standing side by side with shared purpose. William leads with quiet strength, while Catherine brings warmth and grace that softens even the most formal settings. Together, they create a rhythm that feels effortless, yet it is built on careful planning and deep understanding. Their attention to detail does not go unnoticed. From the way they greet others to the way they handle sensitive moments, everything is done with thought and care. This steady pattern begins to draw attention within the palace walls. Could their way of working become the new standard? Inside the royal household, staff members begin to respond to this change. Many find themselves drawn to the clear direction that William and Catherine bring. In a time when confusion has taken hold, their leadership feels steady and dependable. Instructions are simple, plans are clear, and expectations are well understood. This sense of order offers relief to those who have been struggling to keep pace with shifting decisions. There is a growing feeling that things can be managed again, that structure can return. Slowly, confidence begins to rebuild in quiet ways. The palace, once filled with uncertainty, starts to find small moments of stability. But as their influence grows, so does the attention placed upon them. Can they carry this rising weight without faltering? Behind their composed image lies a different reality, one filled with pressure that few can fully see. Every step they take is closely watched. every choice carefully observed. There is little room for error, and even the smallest detail can carry great meaning. They must balance duty with expectation, strength with grace, and tradition with change. This constant attention creates a quiet strain, one that they carry without complaint. Yet through it all, they remain focused, never allowing the pressure to break their unity. Their calm is not accidental, but the result of discipline and shared understanding. Still, the question remains, how long can they maintain this perfect balance? As days pass, it becomes clear that their role is changing in ways that cannot be ignored. They are no longer seen only as the future of the monarchy. Instead, they are beginning to take on responsibilities that belong to the present. This shift happens quietly, without formal announcement, but it is deeply felt within the palace. More tasks begin to move toward them, more trust is placed in their hands. Their presence starts to fill the space left by uncertainty. It is a change that feels both natural and significant at the same time. With each step forward, they move closer to something greater. But with greater responsibility comes greater expectation. Will they be ready when the moment calls for even more? The palace watches closely as this transformation continues to unfold. There is a sense that something important is building, something that may soon reach a turning point. William and Catherine stand at the center of this quiet shift, carrying both hope and pressure in equal measure. Their rise has been steady, but the path ahead may demand even more from them. The balance they have created will soon be tested in ways they cannot fully predict. And as this moment draws nearer, one thought begins to take shape. If they are called to step even further forward, will they be prepared to stand in a role far greater than before? Charles makes a bold decision. Within the quiet walls of the hospital, far from the grand halls of the palace, King Charles faces a moment of deep reflection. The days feel longer, filled with careful treatment and constant updates from those managing royal affairs. Each briefing he receives carries a growing sense of concern. Reports speak of delays, disagreements, and a lack of clear direction. The system he spent years preparing to lead is beginning to slip into uncertainty. Even from a distance, he can feel the strain spreading through the institution. The crown, which once stood firm, now seems to lean under pressure. These updates weigh heavily on him, not just as a ruler, but as someone who understands the responsibility of the role. How much more can the monarchy endure without steady leadership? As he listens to each report, a clear picture begins to form. The palace is no longer moving with the quiet strength it once had. Decisions are slowed by hesitation, and unity is weakened by silent division. Charles understands that time is no longer a luxury he can rely on. Every passing day without strong direction creates more uncertainty. Though his body is confined, his mind remains focused on the duty he has always carried. He knows that waiting for a full recovery may come at too great a cost. The monarchy cannot remain in this fragile state. A choice must be made, and it must be made soon. But what kind of decision could restore balance without causing further strain? In this moment of urgency, his thoughts turn to William and Catherine. He has watched their steady rise, their calm presence, and their growing ability to handle responsibility with care. He has seen how they bring order where there is confusion, and warmth where there is tension. Their strength lies not only in their roles, but in their unity. Together, they represent something the monarchy needs at this very moment: a sense of calm, direction, and quiet strength. As this thought settles, it begins to take shape into something more than just an idea. It becomes a possible solution. Could they step into a role far greater than anything they have done before? With careful thought, Charles reaches a decision that carries both courage and risk. He chooses to place William and Catherine at the center of a critical moment for the monarchy. They will step forward for an upcoming event of great importance, one that demands strength, stability, and clear presence. But this is not a simple appearance. They will take on a role that reflects the position of king and queen, standing not just as representatives, but as the leading figures of the occasion. It is a move shaped by necessity, designed to restore confidence and bring focus back to the crown. Yet, it is also a decision that changes the balance within the royal family. What will this bold step set into motion? The weight of this choice is not lost on him. He understands that such a move will not pass quietly within the palace. It will shift expectations, challenge roles, and possibly deepen existing tensions. Still, he believes the moment calls for action, not hesitation. The monarchy must appear steady, even if that steadiness must come from those not yet formally crowned. By placing William and Catherine in this position, he is not only solving a present problem, but also shaping the path ahead. It is a decision that speaks without words, showing trust in their ability to carry the crown's weight. But trust alone does not remove the risks that follow. How will others respond to this sudden shift? As the plan begins to take form, a quiet sense of change moves through the palace. Those who learn of the decision understand its importance immediately. It is not just about one event, but about what it represents. When they step forward in this powerful role, how will the rest of the royal family react? A decision that ignites fury. The moment the decision is shared within the palace, the calm that once held everything together begins to break. What was meant to bring stability instead sends a wave of shock through the inner circle. The news travels quickly between private offices and quiet hallways, carrying with it a weight that cannot be ignored. Faces that once showed control now reflect surprise and concern. The shift is sudden, and no one is fully prepared for how deeply it will be felt. What was planned as a solution now feels like the start of something far more complicated. Could this bold move create more trouble than it was meant to fix? At the center of this reaction stands Queen Camilla, caught off guard by the choice that has been made. She had believed her role was clear, that she would step forward when needed to support the crown during this difficult time. In her mind, it was a natural path, one shaped by her position and her presence beside the king. But now, that path has been quietly taken away. The decision places William and Catherine ahead, leaving her feeling pushed aside at a moment when she expected to stand firm. The feeling is not just disappointment, but something deeper. A sense that her place has been changed without warning. How does one accept such a sudden shift? Behind closed doors, the tension begins to grow stronger. Their growing influence does not come from loud actions, but from steady consistency. At every engagement, they present a clear image of partnership, standing side by side with shared purpose. Conversations that once carried calm tones now feel sharp and heavy. There are careful words, but also hidden emotions that slip through in small ways. Concerns are raised about respect, about timing, and about the meaning behind the decision. Some see it as necessary, while others view it as a step too far. The balance within the royal household begins to tilt, and every exchange adds to the strain. No voices are raised openly, yet the weight of disagreement is clear in every room. It is a quiet conflict, but one that carries great force. Will these private tensions remain hidden, or will they rise into something more? Senior aides find themselves in a difficult position as they try to steady the situation. Their task is to keep unity intact, even as it begins to weaken beneath the surface. They move carefully, speaking with different sides, offering calm where they can. Each step is measured, each word chosen with care. They understand how fragile the moment is and how easily it could slip further out of control. Plans are adjusted, messages are softened, and efforts are made to keep the focus on the larger goal. The monarchy must appear steady, no matter what happens behind its doors. But even the best efforts cannot fully hide the cracks that are beginning to show. Can unity truly be held together under such pressure? As the day moves forward, the feeling within the palace shifts into something more serious. What began as surprise slowly settles into quiet division. The decision has drawn a line, one that separates expectation from reality. Those who support the move stand firm in their belief, while others struggle to accept the change. The atmosphere grows heavier, filled with thoughts left unspoken but clearly felt. Every glance, every pause carries meaning. It is no longer just about one decision, but about what it represents for the future. The unity that once felt natural now requires effort to maintain. What happens when that effort is no longer enough? In the midst of this rising tension, one truth becomes clear. The decision has changed more than roles. It has changed the balance of trust within the royal household. As this tension continues to grow, another moment approaches, one that will bring everything into the open. When William and Catherine finally step forward, what will that moment reveal? A moment that felt like a coronation. The day finally arrives with a quiet sense of importance that cannot be ignored. What was expected to be a simple royal engagement carries a deeper weight from the very start. The setting is prepared with great care, every detail arranged to reflect dignity and order. Those present move with calm focus, yet there is a feeling in the air that something unusual is about to unfold. It is not loud or dramatic, but it is steady and strong, the kind of moment that builds slowly before revealing its true meaning. As the time draws closer, attention sharpens, and every movement begins to matter. Could this ordinary day turn into something unforgettable? When William and Catherine step forward, the change is felt at once. Their presence is different, carrying a quiet strength that fills the space around them. They are no longer seen simply as prince and princess. Instead, they carry themselves with a grace and authority that reflects something far greater. Their posture is steady, their expressions calm, and their movements carefully measured. There is no rush, no sign of uncertainty. Every step they take feels purposeful, as though they have already accepted the weight placed upon them. It is a shift that happens in silence, yet it is clear to everyone watching. What makes this moment feel so complete without a single word being spoken? As the engagement continues, their unity becomes even more clear. William leads with quiet confidence, guiding each part of the event with a steady hand. Catherine stands beside him with warmth and balance, adding a gentle strength that softens the formality of the occasion. Together, they create a perfect harmony, each movement flowing naturally into the next. Their connection is not forced or practiced. It feels real, built on understanding and shared purpose. Every action, no matter how small, carries meaning. The way they greet others, the way they listen, the way they respond, all of it reflects a level of control and calm that feels complete. Could this natural unity be the key to their strength? There is no hesitation in their actions, no sign of doubt in their expressions. They move through each part of the event with a quiet command that feels both strong and gentle. Their presence brings a sense of order, as though everything has fallen back into place. The uncertainty that once lingered now feels distant, replaced by a steady rhythm that guides the moment forward. It is not just about appearance, but about the feeling they create. A sense of calm, of direction, of quiet assurance. In this space, they do not seem like figures preparing for the future. They feel like leaders of the present. How can something feel so certain without being formally declared? As the event reaches its peak, the transformation becomes impossible to ignore. Without any formal announcement, without any grand statement, the shift has already taken place. William and Catherine stand not just as representatives, but as figures who fully embody the roles of king and queen. It is seen in their composure, in their confidence, and in the way they hold the moment together. The crown, once weighed down by uncertainty, now feels steady again in their presence. It is a quiet but powerful change, one that speaks through action rather than words. Could this moment mark the beginning of something lasting? When the engagement comes to an end, the feeling it leaves behind is strong and lasting. The palace may still hold its tensions, and the future may still carry questions, but something has clearly shifted. William and Catherine have stepped into a role that feels natural to them, even if it has not been officially named. Their presence has brought clarity where there was once confusion. The path ahead may still be uncertain, but this moment has shown what is possible. And, as the day fades into memory, one thought begins to rise above the rest. After this powerful appearance, what changes will follow within the royal family? A silent shift in power. After the powerful appearance, the palace does not return to what it once was. Something has changed, and it can be felt in every corner, even in the quietest rooms. The energy is different, calmer in some ways, yet deeper in others. What was planned as a short step forward now begins to stretch into something more lasting. Staff move with a new sense of direction, and daily duties start to follow a steadier rhythm. The uncertainty that once filled the halls begins to fade, replaced by a growing sense of order. It is not announced, and it is not explained, but it is clearly there. The shift has happened, and it is settling in quietly. Could this moment have changed the monarchy more than anyone expected? William and Catherine continue to carry their responsibilities with the same calm strength they showed before. Their actions remain steady, their decisions clear, and their presence reassuring. Each task they handle adds to the growing belief that they are fully capable of leading. There is no sign of strain in the way they move forward, only quiet confidence that feels natural and earned. They do not rush to take more than they are given, yet they handle everything placed before them with care and precision. This steady approach begins to shape the daily flow of the palace. It feels less like a temporary arrangement and more like a new way of moving forward. How long before this new rhythm becomes the only one that remains? Within the palace, standing side by side with shared purpose, attention begins to settle more firmly on them. Staff members who once looked elsewhere for direction now turn to William and Catherine without hesitation. Plans are built around their schedules, decisions align with their guidance, and a quiet trust grows stronger with each passing day. This shift does not come from force, but from the way they lead. Their calm nature creates stability, and their unity brings balance. It is a gentle change, but one that carries great meaning. The center of influence is no longer where it once was. It has moved, slowly but surely, into new hands. What does this mean for those who once held that position? For Camilla, the change is not easy to accept. The feeling of being set aside does not fade quickly. Instead, it lingers, growing more complex with each passing moment. It is no longer just disappointment, but a quiet understanding that her influence is no longer as strong as it once seemed. She watches as the focus shifts, as attention turns elsewhere, and as decisions begin to move without her at the center. This realization brings a heavy silence, one that is not spoken aloud but deeply felt. The role she once believed would guide her forward now feels uncertain. Can she find a place within this new balance, or will the distance continue to grow? At the same time, the absence of King Charles continues to cast a long shadow. His condition keeps him away, leaving questions that no one can fully answer. His presence is missed not only in action but in guidance. Without him, the future feels open but unclear. Each day without his return adds to the sense that things may not go back to how they were. The decisions made in his absence begin to shape a path that may continue even when he returns. It is a delicate situation, filled with both hope and uncertainty. How will his return, whenever it comes, affect what has already begun? As the days move forward, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. The balance of power within the monarchy has shifted, not through force or announcement, but through quiet action and steady presence. William and Catherine now stand at the center, carrying a role that feels larger with each passing moment. The change is gentle, yet it holds a strength that cannot be undone easily. The monarchy stands at the edge of something new, something that may shape its future in lasting ways. What began as a temporary step has turned into something far more powerful. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.